grand hall of the Galactic Council glittered with silver light. Thousands of alien delegates filled the chamber, their strange bodies shifting, glowing, and whispering as they watched the human ambassador step forward. To them, he looked small, fragile, weak compared to their tall frames and armored skins. The council speaker, a towering creature of scales and horns, raised his voice. Humans are soft, their bones break, their flesh tears, their lives are short, they are fragile, unworthy of respect in this galaxy. Laughter spread through the chamber, a wave of mocking sounds echoing against the walls. Some aliens banged their claws against the tables, others hissed with amusement. One shouted, "Earth is nothing more than a child's world. A single fleet from our empire could crush it in a day." The human ambassador, a man named Marcus Hale, stood calm. His dark eyes scanned the room. His suit was plain compared to the jeweled robes and shining armor around him, yet his silence carried weight. He did not rise to anger. He did not speak a single word in defense. Instead, he smiled, just slightly. That smile unsettled a few who noticed it, but most ignored it. To them, humans were beneath notice. Their technology was old, their colonies were few, and their armies small. The galaxy had measured Earth and found it weak. "Humanity is fragile," the speaker continued. "Fragile things break, and when they break, they do not return." More laughter followed. The declaration was written into the council's record, and with that, the galaxy believed humanity's fate was sealed. But Marcus Hale's mind was not on their insults. His calm mask hid the storm inside him. He remembered the fleets Earth had been building in secret. He thought of the hidden shipyards carved into asteroids, the massive cannons buried beneath oceans, the weapons that no alien eye had ever seen. Bowed slightly, spoke no words, and walked away from the podium. Behind his silence, Earth was already moving. On Earth, far from the council, the leaders gathered in shadowed rooms. Generals, scientists, and engineers stood around glowing maps of the stars. They had watched the council's broadcast. They had heard every insult, and they had seen Marcus Hale's faint smile. "Fragile," one general repeated, his voice heavy with anger. "That is what they call us. They think we cannot fight. They think we cannot endure. Let them think so. We will answer in fire." The Council of Earth had long known this day would come. Humanity had always been underestimated. From the first steps onto the moon to the first colony beyond Mars, the galaxy had looked down on Earth, but humans had survived worse. They had survived endless wars, plagues, disasters, and yet they had always risen again. Deep under the oceans, vast war machines slept, their hulls hidden in trenches so deep no alien scanners could find them. In asteroid belts, secret shipyards hummed with energy, building warships larger than any dreadnought the galaxy had seen. And on distant colonies, soldiers trained not just for defense but for vengeance. Still, for now, Earth remained quiet. No fleet moved, no weapon was fired. To the galaxy, humans seemed to accept their weakness. But inside, every citizen of Earth carried the memory of the insult. Children repeated the words at schools. Soldiers clenched their fists in silence. Leaders sharpened their plans. Weeks passed. Rumors spread. Alien traders whispered of strange movements near the Sol system. A few scouts reported disappearing when entering human space, but no proof returned, only silence. Some empires laughed. "The humans are hiding," they said. "They are too weak to show their teeth." Yet some smaller races were not so sure. They had seen humanity's eyes before, eyes that burned with defiance even when the body was broken. They whispered in fear, "The humans are planning something." The galaxy ignored them. The powerful always ignored the whispers of the small. Back on Earth, Marcus Hale stood before a window in the command center, staring at the stars. He remembered the council's laughter. He remembered the speaker's voice, and he whispered to himself, "Fragile. They will see what fragile means when fire falls from the sky." Behind him, the screens lit up with reports. Engineers confirmed the rail cannons were armed. Pilots confirmed the fleets were ready. Generals confirmed that the firestorm could be unleashed at any moment. Still, Earth waited. Humanity had learned patience. They would not strike first. No, they would wait for the galaxy to send its fleets. They would wait for the moment when the stars burned with arrogance. Then Earth would answer. In the darkness of space, deep inside an asteroid fortress, a massive warship slowly powered up. Its engines glowed like a rising sun. Its hull bristled with weapons never seen by alien eyes. A single human word was carved into its side: fury. And across the stars, though the galaxy still laughed, Earth was ready. The Council's laughter still echoed across the stars, but whispers began to rise in the hidden corners of the galaxy. Traders spoke of strange human ships seen moving through asteroid fields. Scouts told stories of fleets that vanished when they entered Sol's borders. No one had proof, but silence itself became a warning. In the bars of distant colonies, pilots whispered, "The humans are not weak, they are preparing. I saw engines glowing where no station should exist." Others dismissed it, laughing. "Humans are fragile. They build ships like toys. They could never match the empires." Yet the unease spread. On the Council's grand worlds, officials received reports of missing vessels. At first they ignored them, blaming pirates or accidents, but the pattern grew. Entire squadrons disappeared, their signals cut off in the void. Some races began to fear, but the great empires still mocked. "Earth cannot harm us. We are millions of worlds, they are one." In the hidden command centers of Earth, the truth was clear. Humanity was no longer only defending. They were preparing a storm. Massive carriers floated in asteroid belts, their hulls disguised as rocks. Crews worked day and night in silence. Weapons larger than cities were tested in the blackness of space. The humans spoke little, but their eyes burned with focus. Marcus Hale returned from the Council and stood among the generals. "The galaxy believes we are fragile," he said. "Let them believe. Every insult, every laugh, every declaration is fuel. We will show them what fire means when the time is right." Generals nodded. Scientists showed blueprints of rail cannons powerful enough to split moons. Pilots trained in hidden stations, learning maneuvers no alien could predict. And all of Earth's people, from colonies to far-off mining stations, prepared in silence. Every insult carried across the stars had been planted deep in their hearts. Now it grew into fury. Meanwhile, alien scouts grew bold. A fleet from the Virak Empire slipped into the shadows of human space. Their commander sneered. "We will see their secrets. We will drag their fragile ships into the light." They crossed the asteroid belt, scanning, searching. They laughed when their sensors showed nothing but rocks and frozen stone. Then, the rocks moved. Engines burned from within the asteroids. Vast black ships rose like beasts waking from slumber. Their guns glowed red as if fire itself had been trapped inside metal. The Virak fleet had no time to scream before silence returned. Not a single ship escaped. Only one broken fragment drifted back into alien space. A shattered piece of hull with a human word burned into it. Fury. The whispers grew louder. "The humans are not weak," frightened voices said. "They are predators hiding in shadows." Small races began to watch Earth with new eyes. Some even prayed to human strength, believing that when the storm came, only Earth could save them from the great empires. But the powerful leaders laughed still. They called the missing fleets cowards. They mocked the stories of warships hidden in rocks. "Earth cannot hide forever," they declared. "When our fleets march, their fragile shells will burn." Yet doubt crept in. Alien merchants refused to fly near Sol. Colonies near human borders grew restless. Even soldiers of great empires whispered in fear. No one admitted it aloud, but in their hearts they felt the truth. Humanity was preparing something far beyond fragile. On Earth, the silence was planned. Every whisper of fear in the galaxy was part of their design. Marcus Hale stood before the hidden fleet and spoke to the soldiers. "They call us fragile, they call us weak, but when the storm breaks, the galaxy will know our fire." The soldiers saluted, their voices rising as one. For Earth, for humanity, for the firestorm. And far away in the galaxy's heart, the Council grew uneasy. Reports stacked higher each day. Fleets missing, colonies whispering, traders refusing to travel near human systems. The speaker slammed his claws against the table. "Humans are fragile," he roared. "Fragile things break, and Earth will break too." But even in his own court, some eyes lowered, some hands trembled. The speaker's roar could not erase the whispers that haunted every corner of the galaxy. The whispers of war, the whispers of Earth, the whispers of fire. The galaxy grew restless. The whispers of Earth's hidden power spread like smoke through the stars. But still the great empires refused to believe. They wanted proof. They wanted blood. It was the Vurak Empire that made the first move. Their pride was wounded after losing scouts in human space. Their warlord declared before the council, "We will crush Earth. Yet we will prove they are nothing but fragile dust." Laughter echoed once again, but behind that laughter there was fear. A fleet of 100 Vurak warships left their homeworld. They were vast machines of black metal, armed with cannons that had shattered moons. The galaxy watched their departure, certain that when the fleet returned, Earth would be nothing but smoke. On Earth, the signal was received. Marcus Hale stood in the command center, his voice calm. They come at last. Around him, generals studied maps of space, glowing red with enemy movements. The largest fleet ever seen near Sol was moving directly toward Earth. But Earth did not panic. Humanity had waited for this moment. Hidden fleets powered their engines in silence. Rail cannons deep under the oceans prepared to fire. Satellites aligned, carrying weapons cloaked in shadows. Soldiers strapped into their seats, whispering the oath, for Earth, for fire. When the Vurak fleet entered the edge of Sol, they found empty silence. Stars burned cold, but there was no resistance. "See," their commander sneered, "the humans are too fragile to fight. They hide in fear." The fleet advanced toward Earth, but then the silence cracked. The asteroids moved. Huge shapes unfolded from the rocks. Human dreadnoughts rose with engines glowing like suns. Their hulls carried names carved into steel. Fury, Vengeance, Storm. The Vurak commander shouted, "Fire!" Cannons roared, beams of light tore through space, but the human ships did not fall. Their armor absorbed the blasts, and then they answered. The first shot came from Fury, a rail cannon so powerful it split a Vurak battleship in half. The explosion lit the darkness like a second sun. Then missiles launched in storms, hundreds at once, chasing targets like wolves hunting prey. The galaxy watched through stolen signals. They saw the impossible. Human warships, fought with speed and power no one believed they possessed. The Vurak fleet tried to regroup, but each formation was torn apart. Their proud. Dreadnoughts shattered, their cruisers burned. One by one, their signals went silent. Panic spread in the enemy fleet. "Retreat," some shouted. But it was too late. Every path was blocked by hidden human ships. Earth had planned this battlefield for years. Every asteroid, every orbit, every silence was a trap. The battle raged for hours, but to the galaxy, it felt like minutes. By the end, only wreckage drifted where the Vurak fleet once stood. Pieces of metal floated like grave markers, and among them, human ships sailed untouched, engines burning red. In the council hall, silence fell. The live feed ended in fire. Alien leaders sat frozen. Their laughter was gone. Their claws and hands trembled. For the first time, they saw Earth not as fragile, but as something else, something terrifying. The speaker broke the silence, his voice heavy. "This cannot be true. Humanity cannot hold such power." But his words were empty. The truth had been burned into every mind. The truth was the firestorm. Back on Earth, Marcus Hale spoke to the world. His voice carried across colonies and stations. "They came to prove us fragile, but they found only fire. This is only the beginning. Humanity will not be mocked. Humanity will not bow. We are not weak. We are the storm." The people roared with pride. Soldiers raised their fists. Engineers cheered in secret shipyards. Children shouted the names of the ships as if they were legends already. Humanity had risen from insult to fury, and the galaxy could no longer ignore them. But in the shadows of the council, not everyone trembled. Some empires whispered of alliances. Some plotted revenge. One dark voice murmured, "If humans can unleash such fire, then we must prepare greater storms." The galaxy was changing. The first spark had been lit. The firestorm was only beginning. The galaxy was silent after the fall of the Vurak fleet. For the first time in living memory, an empire's warships had been wiped out not by another empire, but by Earth. The council chambers stood in shock. Worlds whispered in fear. Yet Earth remained quiet. Their fleets did not march outward, not yet. That silence was louder than any roar. Alien leaders argued, if humans can destroy fleets in their own system, what will they do if they march beyond it? Some demanded peace, others demanded war. And while they argued, Earth prepared. In the deep oceans of Earth, massive gates opened. From the darkness rose machines the size of cities, submarines that carried cannons which could fire across the void of space. They rose from trenches like sleeping giants, their hulls dripping with water, their engines glowing as if the sea itself had caught fire. From hidden shipyards, more dreadnoughts left their docks, each one named after storms of Earth's history. Hurricane, inferno, tempest. Soldiers cheered as they boarded. Engineers wept with pride as their creations left the hangars. Humanity's storm was no longer waiting, it was moving. The first strike came not at Earth's borders, but far beyond. A powerful empire called the Dravic had mocked humans the loudest. They had declared Earth nothing more than a weak shell waiting to crack. Now, in their own space, their fleets patrolled with arrogance. Without warning, the stars around them burned. Dozens of human warships uncloaked, their engines cutting through the darkness. Missiles launched in storms, rail cannons thundered, plasma fire roared like the breath of dragons. The Dravic never saw it coming. Their mighty fleet was shattered in a single night. Across the galaxy, signals lit up with horror. No one believed humans would strike so far, so fast. Yet here was the proof, human warships standing victorious in the heart of enemy territory. On the council floor, chaos reigned. Some shouted for surrender, others demanded vengeance. The speaker roared, "This is madness. Humans are only one world. They cannot defeat us all." But deep inside, even he knew the truth. The fragile world he mocked had become a storm. Meanwhile, Marcus Hale stood aboard the flagship Fury, staring at the wreckage of the Dravic fleet. His voice carried through the fleet. "They laughed at us. They called us fragile, but now they know our fire. We do not seek to conquer, but we will not be mocked, not be broken. Humanity answers only with fury." The soldiers roared back, their voices shaking the halls of their ships. For the first time, they felt not like defenders, but like predators. The galaxy had tried to cage them, and now the cage was burning. Fear spread faster than fire. Entire colonies of smaller races sent secret messages to Earth. Some begged for protection, some offered alliance. They whispered, "We believe in your storm, we believe in humanity." And humanity listened, not with arrogance, but with cold patience. Yet not all chose fear. The great empires began building larger fleets. They poured their resources into weapons meant to crush humanity before it grew stronger. They told their people, "Humans are only fire. Fire can be extinguished." But the people remembered the battles, remembered the wreckage, and in their hearts doubt grew. Then came the night that shook the galaxy. A coalition fleet of 3 empires entered human-claimed space, more than 500 warships. They expected resistance, but not what they found. The void erupted. Every hidden fortress, every cloaked ship, every weapon humanity had prepared for years came alive at once. Missiles rained like meteors, rail cannons fired with the power of lightning. Entire enemy squadrons were erased in single volleys. The firestorm had been unleashed in full. The battle was not a battle, it was slaughter. The coalition fleet scattered, but wherever they ran, humanity was waiting. Ships emerged from shadows. Weppelsate. Hands cut them down. In less than a day, the proud fleet was gone. The galaxy trembled. No one could laugh anymore. No one could say fragile. For in the ruins of those fleets, the truth was carved. Humanity was no longer the weakest race in the stars. They were the storm that no empire could stop. Back on Earth, Marcus Hale spoke once again. His voice echoed not only on Earth, but across the colonies, and even through secret channels to alien worlds. "We did not start this war, but we will finish it if forced. We will not be slaves, not be prey. We are humanity, and we are fire." The words spread across the stars like flames through dry grass. Entire civilizations repeated them, some in fear, some in hope, but none in mockery. The firestorm had been unleashed, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The galaxy was no longer laughing. The firestorm of Earth had burned too bright, too fierce. Entire fleets lay in ruins. Proud empires were shaken, and the whispers of war had become screams of fear. Everywhere the name of humanity carried a new weight. On the trade routes, merchants spoke in hushed voices. "Do not go near Sol. Do not cross human space. They are not weak, they are fire." In the bars of frontier colonies, soldiers whispered, "If the humans can shatter a fleet in a single day, What will they do to an empire? Even smugglers who feared nothing avoided Earth's borders. The council chamber was no longer a place of mockery. It was filled with fear. Alien leaders shouted over one another. "They must be stopped," cried one. "We must surrender," cried another. The speaker's voice tried to roar above them, but even his words shook with doubt. "Humans are dangerous," he said, "but they are still only one world. If we unite, we can destroy them." Yet silence followed. No one believed it anymore. They had seen too much. Some races, small and weak, turned toward Earth with hope. They sent secret envoys with trembling hands, begging for protection. One envoy, a small insectoid creature, stood before Marcus Hale and whispered, "They have called us fragile too. They have broken our colonies. But you are the fire that cannot be broken. Please, let us stand with you." Marcus Hale listened. His voice was calm but firm. "We do not seek to rule, but we will defend those who stand with us. If you stand with humanity, humanity will stand with you." The envoy wept. For the first time, a race that was powerless found a shield in the fire of Earth. But not all accepted this new balance. The great empires could not bow. They built vast armadas larger than anything seen before. Factories thundered day and night. Soldiers trained in endless drills. Leaders told their people, "Humans are strong, but they are only fire, and fire can be smothered." Yet in their hearts they knew it was not so simple. Fear spread like a shadow. Entire colonies rebelled against their empires, crying out for humanity. Banners were painted with the image of fire. Children spoke the word Earth with awe. The galaxy trembled not only from fear but from change. And still, Earth remained silent. Their fleets did not march into conquest. They did not burn cities or enslave worlds. Instead, they waited, patient and watchful, like wolves standing on the edge of the dark. The galaxy expected rage, but humanity showed restraint. And that restraint was more terrifying than any battle. For what kind of predator unleashes firestorms but then waits in silence? What kind of fragile race destroys empires and then whispers nothing? The answer haunted every leader. One empire, desperate to prove strength, launched a probe into Sol. The probe captured only a single image before its signal cut. A human fleet stretched across the black, ships larger than any dreadnought, engines glowing like suns. The last frame carried words burned into its hulls. "We are waiting," the council viewed. The image in silence. No one spoke. Some lowered their eyes, some clenched their claws, but all felt the same cold truth. Marcus Hale addressed the human people once more. His voice was steady, carrying across every screen. "They tremble now, but do not mistake fear for respect. They will come again, they will try again, and when they do, we will remind them. Humanity does not break. Humanity does not bow. Humanity answers only with fire." The people roared, the colonies roared, soldiers raised their voices. Across Earth and beyond, the fury grew stronger, and far away, in the dark halls of the most powerful empire, secret words were spoken. A warlord hissed, "If we do not crush them now, humanity will rise above us all. They will rule not by conquest, but by fear." His generals bowed. Fleets began to gather. The galaxy prepared for another storm. But the storm that humanity carried was unlike any before. For it was not only fire in weapons, but fire in hearts. The fire of every insult, every mockery, every declaration that humanity was fragile. That fire now burned across the stars. The galaxy trembled, and the storm was only growing. The galaxy was burning with fear, but fear alone could not stop pride. The great empires could not accept humiliation. They had ruled for centuries. They had crushed rebellions. They had broken entire species beneath their fleets. Now they swore humanity would meet the same fate. Armadas were built, vast and endless, stretching across the stars. Factories thundered with the forging of new warships. Soldiers were promised glory. "We will smother the human fire," their leaders declared. "We will break the fragile world once and for all." The coalition came, 5 empires together, fleets numbering more than 1,000 ships. It was the greatest armada the galaxy had ever seen, the council declared. "This storm will end tonight," they see. Her people cheered, believing victory was certain. But Earth was ready. Humanity had watched, waited, prepared. In the silence of deep space, their Fleets spread into hidden positions. The oceans stirred as cannons beneath the waves rose into launch. Asteroid fortresses woke, their guns glowing like angry suns. When the coalition crossed into human space, the trap closed. The first strike came not from Earth's warships, but from the void itself. Mines hidden in the black exploded, shattering dozens of ships before they could even fire. Rail cannons from distant fortresses struck next, beams tearing through cruisers like paper. Panic spread instantly. The armada roared back, thousands of guns firing at once, the void lit with endless fire. But humanity had learned patience. They did not meet the armada head-on. Instead, they broke them piece by piece, striking from shadows, vanishing into silence, reappearing with fury. Hours turned into days, but the armada never reached Earth. Every path was blocked, every trap sprung. Every empire's proudest fleets crumbled into wreckage. The galaxy watched in horror as the greatest military force in history was reduced to dust. And then, something strange happened. Humanity stopped. The armada was broken. Survivors drifted, helpless, waiting for the final blow. Yet Earth did not deliver it. Humanity spared them. Ships crippled but not destroyed. Soldiers left alive but disarmed. The Council could not understand. Why do they stop? Leaders asked. Why not finish their enemies? The answer came in a single message broadcast across the stars. Marcus Hale's voice, calm, unshaken. We are not conquerors. We are not slavers. We will not burn cities or change worlds. But if you bring fleets against us, they will fall. If you raise weapons against us, they will be broken. Once and only once we will show mercy. Do not mistake it for weakness. The galaxy trembled. The message spread faster than any fleet. Some cheered, believing humanity was just and merciful. Others fear. Realizing mercy itself was more terrifying than destruction. For it meant humanity was in complete control. They chose not to kill. They chose to let their enemies live. That power shook even the greatest empires. On smaller worlds, children whispered the words, mercy once, mercy once. It became a prayer and a warning both. In the halls of the coalition empires, leaders raged. They humiliated us, they cried. They shattered our fleets and then spared us as if we were children. Pride burned hotter than fear. Secret plans were made. Dark alliances whispered, next time we strike not at their fleets, but at their colonies. But even in those halls, doubt remained. Generals who had seen the firestorm could not sleep. Soldiers who had faced human weapons shook with memory. They had fought a predator unlike any before, a predator that could choose when to kill and when to spare. On Earth, Marcus Hale stood before his people once again, his face calm, his voice steady. They will come again. They cannot accept the truth, but when they come, they will find us ready. For humanity is not fragile. Humanity is not prey. Humanity is fire, fury, and storm, and the stars will remember this reckoning. The people roared, colonies lit with celebration. Soldiers beat their fists against steel. Humanity had stood against the greatest armada in history, and not only survived, they had won. And in their victory, they had chosen mercy. But far away, in the shadows of the galaxy, a single empire whispered in secret. Mercy is weakness. They will regret this. Already, fleets were being rebuilt. Already new weapons forged. The galaxy would not rest. And humanity's storm was not yet finished. The reckoning had come. But the final fire was still waiting. The galaxy was quiet, too quiet. After the coalition armada fell, no empire dared to move openly. But in the shadows, hatred grew. Pride refused to die. One empire, the Kareth Dominion, swore vengeance. Their warlord whispered to his generals, if fleets cannot crush them, then we strike where their hearts are weakest. They chose not to face Earth's armadas. Instead, they targeted a human colony far from Sol, a small world called Epsilon Prime. It was young, fragile, filled with farmers, workers, and children. The Kareth believed humanity would hesitate, that fear of loss would break their storm. One night, Epsilon Prime burned. Kareth warships descended like wolves on sheep. They destroyed satellites, silenced defenses, and unleashed fire on the colony. Homes turned to ash. Cities fell in minutes. The warlord laughed as signals carried across the stars. Look at your firestorm now. Humanity is still fragile. But Earth was listening. The message reached Marcus Hale within minutes. His face turned to steel, his voice shook with fury. "They touched our children," he said. "They thought mercy was weakness. Now they will learn the final word of Earth." Across Seoul, every fortress, every hidden shipyard, every war machine came alive. Fleets launched in silence, engines burning like suns. This time, there would be no waiting, no hesitation. Humanity did not defend. Humanity struck. The human armada crossed the stars faster than anyone believed possible. Carriers, dreadnoughts, and strike ships moved in perfect silence. The Kareth warlord laughed when he heard the reports. "Let them come, we are ready." But when the humans arrived, it was not a fleet that came. It was a storm. Missiles rained in numbers the galaxy had never seen. Rail cannons fired with the force of planets colliding. Plasma fire swept across enemy lines like oceans of flame. The Kareth fleet shattered before they could form. Their warlords screamed orders, but signals broke, ships vanished, silence swallowed their cries. Within a single day, the Dominion's fleets were gone. Their worlds lay defenseless. Humanity could have destroyed them all. But once again, Marcus Hale gave the command, "Strike only their weapons. Leave their people alive. Let them live with the memory of what they brought upon themselves." The galaxy watched in silence. No one had ever seen power so complete. No one had ever seen restraint so sharp. It was not weakness, it was dominance. For only the strong can choose not to kill. Humanity had proved they were strongest of all. The council reconvened, but this time no one mocked, no one laughed. Instead, they sat in silence as Marcus Hale's image appeared before them. His voice was calm, but every word carried weight like thunder. "You called us fragile," he said. "You called us weak. You mocked us, you struck at our homes, our children, and we answered not with surrender but with fire. Let this be the final word of Earth. Mock us and you will burn. Attack us and you will fall. Humanity is no longer prey. Humanity is the storm." The words spread faster than fleets. Across colonies, across empires, across worlds both great and small. Some whispered them in fear, some shouted them in hope, but all remembered them. The galaxy could no longer deny the truth. On Epsilon Prime, survivors wept as human fleets arrived. Soldiers carried children from the ruins. Engineers rebuilt homes with trembling hands. Marcus Hale walked through the ashes, his eyes cold but steady. "We lost, but we endure," he said. "They tried to break us, but they only made us stronger." The people of Earth and its colonies stood united as never before. And in the silence that followed, the galaxy accepted a new truth. Humanity was fragile once, but not anymore. Humanity was fire, fury, and storm. In the dark corners of space, whispers still rose. Some feared, some envied, some dreamed of resistance, but none laughed. For the stars themselves had learned the lesson. The final word belonged to Earth.